Okay, good morning. I will try to navigate this. They didn't do a training course on how to run this thing. So, my name is Sarah Dothit. As Tim said, I'm with Kenai Peninsula Driving Instruction, and he's right. When my husband and I came up with this driving school idea, we came to KPEDD, which is a dream and a passion for training new drivers. And those early days and weeks were tough ones. It was a challenge. Nobody in the current administration had started a driving school in many years. So there were some obstacles that seemed pretty high at that time. And Tim and his team at KPEDD helped us navigate. They helped us get through a lot of those early challenges. And we successfully got open and running. And I'm pretty passionate about the transportation industry these days because of it. It's changed me in a lot of different ways. And I may not look like I'm out in the transportation industry a lot, but I love getting out in the yard and seeing the students and interacting with them. I just want to give you a few transportation facts real quick. Transportation, I just did a quick search and came up with that in the last week alone, there's 110 driver jobs that have been posted. And that's non-CDL, CDL, all driver jobs. So there's a big need in the state of Alaska for drivers. Employers who typically would not hire truck drivers fresh out of driving school, they call me every week. Who do you have? They're desperate. They're ready to bring on these brand new drivers into their companies, which is a big leap of faith, and says a lot about our students, that they really recognize that we're training good students. We have great people coming out of our programs who are hard workers. The transportation world is short-staffed, just like everybody in the state. So if you see a driver, whether they're in a big truck or a small van and they're delivering something and they're out driving, say thank you to them. We've all been working very hard through the pandemic. Everybody's been just hitting the ground running, getting these deliveries made throughout this entire last few years we've had. So
Kenai Peninsula Driving Instruction is Kenai's driving school for CDL and new driver training, working with each student one-on-one for more miles, more seat time, and more training experience for your success.
Before I enrolled at KPEDD, I had no idea about these trucks or how to use them. With just a week-long course, though, they taught me everything I needed to know, which has led to a career that I now have, which I love.
When you're ready to get your CDL driver's license, reach out to Kenai Peninsula Driving Instruction today. Success starts with Kenai Peninsula Driving Instruction.
Shout out to Martin Media, who has been an awesome partner. We've just recently started using them. They're great if you're interested in any kind of video services. They made that video, and we love working with them. So just a tiny glimpse of what we're about, and I want to talk about a couple different things. One, we do driver's ed. So that sounds scary to a lot of people. It sounds scary to get behind the wheel with a teenager or a young adult. We get a lot of people who are even 18 and up to 22 and older who've never had a driver's license. But getting a driver's license is essential to getting into the workforce. We do training courses all the time. We have a full-time driving instructor who is out there hitting the roads. And so you'll see our vehicles out there. You'll see our student drivers doing their training. You'll see them doing their testing. We're a licensed testing facility with the state. So I encourage you to check out our driver's education program. As I've been talking about, the CDL world is a really important aspect of the business as well. And I want to talk just briefly about ELDT. If you've ever heard the term ELDT, it's entry-level driver training. And it's a big deal. And I'm actually really passionate about it. And it's not scary. There's a lot of things going on out there in the transportation industry about ELDT and people who are not happy with it, don't understand it, all of those things. And so I'm always happy to discuss it. ELDT is something that's been in the works for more than a decade. The federal motor carrier came up with a plan saying that we need to standardize truck driving training across the nation. And they became engulfed in this project of creating what does that look like. And ELDT is what was created out of that. It standardized the training across the nation. So whether you get your CDL in North Carolina or California or Alaska, you're learning the same content. And that's the big takeaway about ELDT that I want to talk about is ELDT is not our requirements. There's no time requirements for theory or behind the wheel with ELDT. It's content based. So different schools offer different training programs in different ways, whether it's online or in person or classroom or group trainings or one-to-one trainings. They just need to make sure that their program meets the ELDT content requirements. And so I think that's really important when students are looking at training programs, is to consider what kind of training is best for you and make sure that your program is meeting those new requirements. This just went into effect in February, and honestly, Alaska has actually been ahead in the entire nation and has handled ELDT really well. We've all been pretty impressed by how other states have actually looked to Alaska to say, how did you do this when it came to implementing ELDT? Some of the other things we offer is passenger endorsement training for those that need to transport passengers, which is a really big industry in Alaska, especially with tourism. Getting a hazardous material endorsement for driving fuel trucks. Just learning how to get your CLP, your commercial learner's permit, can be a bit of a task, so we also offer a course for that. We're the only fingerprinting office here on the Kenai Peninsula for TSA pre-check and hazmat and TWIC cards, all which are very important. Everyone that goes out to Nikiski, out into any of the refineries, needs a TWIC card. So we're the only place that does that. We recently added vehicle transactions, so we're going to be launching that here this month and next, where we're going to be doing vehicle transactions right here in Kenai, as well as licensing. So there's a lot of really exciting expansion that's happening, and we're really excited to offer all these services here in Kenai. One of the things I just want to point out about KPDI and what makes us so different is we really take a lot of care and pride in our students. We take a lot of time to get to know them. The first time they call me, and I do all the student enrollments, so they get to talk to me. I explain about our programs. We talk about what they're looking for and what they need, and I can set them up with that. And then I start helping them with funding, whether it's reaching out to corporations or the Department of Labor or other industries that can help fund them. I have lots of key tools to help them get through all of that. And 99% of our students are successful. I know that's pretty bold to say that, but they are. Because of our one-to-one training, we can cater the training to them. We make sure that they cover all of the ELDT requirements, and at the same time, if they're struggling in one area or another, their instructor can cater their training to make sure that they're confident and successful by the end of their training. And the training programs, because they are one-to-one, they are less time than other training facilities as well, because a lot of these new students can't miss too much time off of work. They need to maintain their income for their families, so that's another important aspect. This is our team. We have a really great team of instructors. They have million miles under their belt. They've been in the trucking industry. They've trucked all over the world. We've got a lot of great people working for us, and we're one big family at KPDI. I really love our staff. We have a great camaraderie and fun times at the office. Everybody really enjoys their time with us, and I'm really proud of our team.
For the amount of schooling you have to go through, you can really get a good paying job fairly quickly. At the age of 18, you could potentially get a job working the garbage trucks or hauling gravel in the summer and working within the state.
When I got here, it was my first time back into the trailer. It was a little bit different for me than normal driving, obviously, but I got instructed well, so I was able to do it.
So we'll have to pull in here and then we'll do an alley dog.
Okay.
Got this, man. So at the age of 18, you can get your CDL in the state of Alaska. The one caveat there is you do have to have held your regular driver's license, a Class D they call it, license, for a minimum of 1 year. So as long as you got your regular license at the age of 16, when you turn 18, you're eligible to be able to do the training to get your CDL.
I want to get a trucking job as soon as possible, hopefully within a couple weeks, and make it into a career.
Alaska at Work is part of American Graduate Getting to Work, made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
So I just want to finish that with, we worked with a lot of industries. We've worked with a lot of organizations. We've partnered with a lot of people. We're always looking for people to partner with. We want to help you get drivers. We want to help get your staff trained. If you need defensive driving for your company, for, if your drivers are slacking a little bit and you want to, bump up their game and bring us in to have them do a quick defensive driving course or such like that, those are things we can do. We have a lot of great options, and we're excited to work with the Kenai community as well as all over Alaska. My husband and Alex and I, he grew up here in Kenai. He went to Kenai Central High School. His parents went to Kenai Central High School. We're rooted here in the community. We love Kenai. We love being a part of it. And we love our students. I got a call 2 days ago from a student who got a job, and he went through our truck driving program a few weeks ago. And just hearing him on the phone, he's like, "Sarah, guess what? I got a job. This is what I'm doing. I'm so excited." I love hearing those. I love posting our graduate pictures on our Facebook page every week. It just takes, it's so much pride and joy to see them. They're out there. They're driving. They're making a living for their family. It really brings us a lot of joy. And our instructors agree. It's super rewarding. I'd love to answer questions. Yeah. Absolutely. Yes, we do. We try to do a lot of different varieties of marketing. If you have any suggestions, we're in the Bush mailer, and that one's a big one. I know for the Bush communities, because internet is difficult out there. So we definitely try to reach as many people as we can. Thank you. Any other questions?
A lot of other schools in the state will be 4 or 5 people in one truck. Walking drivers doing that. Not with these folks. It's one-on-one, there's only one teacher, one student. It's impressive. It makes a world of difference in their learning. Could you speak a little bit too quickly? I don't think, but I got it up. Two things real quickly. One, how many students have we actually processed? Started talking about state funding for it.
Yeah, so I don't remember the exact number of CDL students to date, but I know it's just about over 500 in the last 5 years. And the numbers are, it's hard to say numbers wise whether what kind of courses those students did and such, but we have helped over 500 people get their CDL in the state. What was that? Yes, that's true. Yeah, so, and like Mike said, our trucks only seat 2 people. Our day cab trucks, they have an instructor, they have a student. And that's how that student gets all of the attention of their instructor. There could be other ways to train more students at a time, but we have found that this is the most effective way to train students. One-on-one, they get all of the attention. The students told me to say to people, like, what? I'm like, how can I better explain this? They're like, say it's 100% driving while you're here. I'm like, okay, it's 100% driving. Today, I know I have at least 2 trucks that drove to Homer and back. We call Thursdays our long drive days. And when the students are doing really well, they get to drive down to Homer. We treat them to lunch at Fat Olives or somewhere like that. I think the Boatyard Cafe is also a popular option wherever we can pull our semi trucks in. So long drive days, always a lot of fun. The students get to do this big long drive and get to do some hills and highway times. So that's a lot of fun. We work really closely with the Department of Labor. I feel like they're just such a great department down here. We have career support and training and a great staff there that I work really closely with. We do everything we can to fund and get these people into the driver's seat if it's necessary for their job, if they're going to get a raise, if they need a job. There's a lot of ways that you can get funded through these things. And we also work with corporations, private companies. There's a grant program in the state that I'm really excited about. I've been pushing where employers who can actually get partially reimbursed for sending their employees through CDL training if it's necessary for their job, and they've had them for about 6 months or so. So there's a lot of great programs. I'm consistently researching new programs to make sure we can try to get people the funding they need to get CDL training. Any other questions? Yes. Great. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, I really enjoy working with the Job Center. It's always a pleasant experience working with them. And I tell every single student to go to the Job Center first. So I'm always definitely promoting that. But any other questions? I know everybody's hungry. Me too.